Super exciting how wildly evolving the digital market or marketplace is right now, right? If I look back, even goodness, 7-10 years ago, the idea that you could shop on this thing called Instagram, right? I think it was perhaps early onset coming out then. It definitely wasn't Meta. It was still just Instagram, right? TikTok, right? Influencers, that's a whole the idea that there are individuals that you could pay to wear things and they talk about it and they have 1 million followers. Like, right? If someone was, I don't know, in a coma for the last 15 years and you told them these things, they'd be like, wait, what do you mean? So I think it's of critical importance to really stay aware and stay looped in on what's going on, who's doing what, from a digital perspective, and kind of these new, we'll call them new marketplaces or new places where customers are. Um, I encourage my teams to always take a screenshot, write it down, put it on a Post-it, save it, and maybe we'll do it someday. But then also, balancing that with, just because XYZ store did something and it was so amazing, that doesn't mean that it's so amazing for our customer, right? That's the beauty of this arena, that we can build an ROI for just about anything. We have the ability to test, and we know who our customers are, what they want, what they're looking for, and what they're engaging with, right? So I think that makes every day a little bit exciting and different, right? I look back at, let's say, innovations and new launches that we have executed successfully over the past, let's say, year and a half. We were able to re-platform our email service provider to one that is much more robust in the tools that we are presenting to our subscribers and customers. We also launched a CRM solution that has that services us internally from a digital marketing perspective, looking at our audience. But perhaps more critically, is a tool for our online customer service agents to use to track customer callouts, feedback, conversations, DMs, comments on Instagram, tweets, Facebook, any way a customer could reach us. Our customer service team is able to create cases and really kind of keep a record, which is so important. So these kind of customer facing pieces I'm super proud of. We also took those tools and with that and really looking at our customers, how they were shopping, what they were buying. We created what I like to refer to as personalization light, right? Which I said, okay, this kind of goes back to the first question a little bit about market changes, but there's some really interesting technologies and solutions out there for personalized experiences, ratings and reviews, etc. And I, kind of looking at that and said, okay, well, before we invest in something like that, why don't we come up with we called it a style quiz, right? Which is a kind of a terrible name, but that was just really getting to know, we could make some assumptions about our customers, right? We see what's selling, what's not selling, where we're shipping to. Why don't we ask them, right? Maybe there's something that's missing. So that exercise was super eye-opening and was an amazing tool that we were able to use. It wasn't even the initial intent, but just cross-functionally sharing that with, the design teams, the sourcing teams. It's really critical feedback. So my leadership philosophy, I would say I am strategic, but tactical at the same time. It's super important to me to not not ask anything of my team that I wouldn't or couldn't do myself, right? If I can't do it, couldn't do it, I would ask them to show me how, because I'm not, I'd like to learn it. I'd like to see what it is. That concept of kind of being curious, staying curious is really important to me as a leader, and something that I kind of demand of all of my team members. I want them to stay engaged, stay curious, let me teach you, and please reciprocate and do that in turn. Um, Digital is it's covering a lot of ground, right? So I have an operational technical half of my team, and then a merchandising digital marketing half. So kind of the right brains and left brains, right? Um, I make sure that they all work together, and are aware of what their kind of opposite folks do, so that they could always pinch hit, or they could always, they could speak to something or just understand something, because I think that's important, and it only kind of helps um, to foster that kind of communicative environment. First of all, I have to say, super humbling and insanely grateful. I was really floored by some of the company that I was in, and the other folks that had achieved the award, and it was like, wow, you did what, right? I definitely, I would have to say that I would not have been able to achieve um, the successes that I have without the team of folks around me that have contributed massively, to ultimately the growth and successes we've seen at the organization.